welcome to Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, a show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland from Scorebook Live, Mississippi, joined by my co-host here, Rick Cleveland from Mississippi Today. Dad, how was your weekend?
It was fine. I was in New Orleans all weekend.
Yeah,
I'm never going to complain.
Yeah, I get that answer more and more out of you. It seems like you guys disappear down there for the weekends, and I don't blame you at all. Pretty cold, though.
It was colder than you prefer, but, nice walking weather. I got out a little bit, walked around. I love to walk in that town. It's flat, and, different neighborhoods have different smells.
Yeah, I just hate how there's nothing to look at.
Lots of bakeries, lots of Cajun aroma in the air, Creole.
I just hate how there's never anything happening and nothing to look at, nothing interesting going on.
It was a fairly uneventful but very pleasant weekend.
Well, while you were off for the long weekend in New Orleans, let's go back to last week, I had high school basketball last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I had high school soccer championships Friday and Saturday, which Saturday over at Ridgeland at the high school soccer championships, I got to say, maybe one of the coldest I've been in a long time. It was only about 40 degrees, but there was about a 20-mile-an-hour wind that was steady, and it seemed like all day long.
Yeah, soccer has never struck me as a cold weather sport, and I'm glad it was you and not me.
Yeah, it's not really a cold weather sport, but the timing I've been told by folks who know that the timing of our season is perfect because the club season is, it works around that. And if they had it any other time, if they put it in the spring, apparently a bunch of kids would just play club and not play for their high school teams. That's how serious they take it now.
Any surprises in the state champions?
No, I mean, it was a bunch of teams that you expect, that you see every year that's there, like Northwest Rankin and Clinton. Of course, the Northwest Rankin girls knocked off the Clinton girls, and that was in my mind, a bit of an upset because as good as Northwest Rankin was all season, Clinton had beat a really good Madison Central team to get there. I got to see both of those games. So it was kind of a surprise. But other than that, I think Long Beach won their fourth in a row, which is pretty impressive. And they're pretty much a powerhouse. Think like Neshoba Central volleyball or West Point football or, somewhere along those lines. That's where Long Beach boys soccer ranks. But no, not a whole lot of surprises. A whole lot of football, though. European style.
Soccer.
Yeah. So lots of hair, I'll say that. The soccer players got some hair these days.
College basketball is where the hair is.
There's a lot of hair at college basketball as well. And the collection you get is amazing. Speaking of which, Dad, we had some college basketball going down in Mississippi over the weekend. Won't you fill us in? I know Ole Miss picked up a win over Missouri, which was much needed. And I want to say before that game, most of the experts had them pegged as one of the last four in, with State in that next four or maybe even the next four category.
Yeah, we need to talk about what's fixing to happen. State and Ole Miss play the round 2 of the basketball Egg Bowl Wednesday night at Starkville. When State and Ole Miss play, it's always a big game, but this is really a big game because both teams are 6-6 in the league. I think they're in 6th and 7th place in a 14-team league. They have their sneakers planted firmly on the bubble, and a win for either team Wednesday night would be huge.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bracket watch on ESPN as we speak, and I think they've got Ole Miss as the last team in. I guess the committee prefers Mississippi State. Can you tell us why?
They've just played a tougher schedule. That's it. They've played if you look at the power rankings, State's played a tougher schedule, and that's why they would be ahead of Ole Miss in the pecking order. You could throw a blanket over both of them, a beach towel over both of them. They're really even. as their records would indicate. Ole Miss won the game in Oxford. I'd be surprised if State doesn't win the game in Starkville. That's just the way it usually works.
Do you think that's enough to knock Ole Miss off the bubble?
Probably not. I mean, there's a lot of basketball left to play. Yeah, a lot of things can happen. A road loss just doesn't hurt like a home loss does. It would really hurt State if Ole Miss was to win at State.
Well, if both of them were to get in, I think that puts the SEC at around 9 teams, which I think is the best among any conference other than maybe the Big 12, who looks to get 9 in as well.
It's a hell of a league. I mean, the SEC basketball-wise is surely one of the top 2 or 3 leagues in the country. Maybe the best this year.
Yeah, well, speaking of the best league, I saw that the SEC as a whole has gotten off to quite the start in the baseball season over the weekend. But it is like a who's who of maybe I don't know how you're going to rank them, but if there's 16 of them, they may have 16 teams in the top, 30 or 40 teams in the league this year. Just looking at it, man, strong starts for pretty much everybody. I know Ole Miss lost 1 game, I think, out at Hawaii.
No, they lost 2. They split 2-2, and State won 2 or 3 from Air Force.
Yeah, well, who then came to Hattiesburg and played Southern Miss Monday.
And Southern Miss got a nice win then.
They did. They went 2-1 against Marist and then beat Air Force, which kind of impressed with that Air Force team. I don't know how many 6'3", 215 guys they could bring in out of the pen. I mean, it just seemed like they just kept rolling in some guys.
Yeah, I tried to catch some of all 3 schools. I love the fact that college baseball is now on the ESPN app.
It's the one deal that you have. If all you wanted to do was watch college baseball, you could sign up for Watch ESPN before the season, and you could cancel it when it was over. And I want to say it would come out to somewhere around 70 cents a baseball game to watch the whole season.
Or less, yeah.
Which is just like an incredible deal in today's world of –
And in just the, 2 or 3 years we've been doing that, the production quality everywhere has gotten a little bit better. Mm-hmm. It's more than one camera.
Yeah.
And so I watched. I actually fell asleep Friday night in extra innings with the Ole Miss Hawaii game about 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. Having an opening day in the middle of the night. It's wonderful. Well, it looks like all of our teams are off to a decent start. You hope these games, you're watching them, and it's such a tough deal for the coaches because you're still trying to fill out what you have. You know what I mean? Trying to find a guy that can be your Sunday guy and maybe your Saturday long reliever or whatever. And meanwhile, you have zero margin for error. If you lose these games, your RPI is going to dip come May.
Yeah, but the comical part of this is the fan reaction.
Oh man, pack it in. It's over.
If you
inexcusable loss.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no regional this year. It's unbelievable how much people who follow college baseball even let one series or one game, they overstate the importance.
Yeah. I saw a lot.
And over and over and over.
I saw a lot of that from Ole Miss fans, but it was like, I'm thinking, well, they're on the other side of the world.
But here's the thing. If any fans in the world should realize
I know.
It's Ole Miss fan. I mean, here they were, just 2 years ago, 22-17 in mid-April, and then they won the national champion. I mean, people were ready to jump off buildings.
Yeah. Or Southern Miss fans are mad about how bad this loss to this one. They won the series. They had this one loss to Marist,
who, by the way, had some arms.
They did have some arms, but I'll remind Southern Miss fans they did not look good at the plate to start last season either.
No, they were awful at the plate, and then they ended up, hitting about a zillion home runs. And May when it mattered. So, yeah, it's just nice that it started.
It has.
It really is. We got midweek games this week, and then more weekend baseball coming up.
Well, I cannot see past next week yet. I'm almost to the point where I can like throw open the doors and go outside and enjoy some baseball. But I'm not there yet because, as you know, we're in the midst of the state basketball tournament. We've got the quarterfinals coming up this week. Wednesday, I think it'll begin Wednesday and wrap up, I want to say, on Friday at all the sites throughout the state, JUCOs. And you can see all those matchups and everything at scorebooklive.com. I'm looking at the brackets right now, but we've got games, and then Monday starts the big dance at the Coliseum that goes 6 days. Now it was 36 games, and has now added 6 more. So we're up to 42 games in 6 days.
Yeah, you're going to have basketballs bouncing in your sleep.
Yeah.
I know how that goes.
It's part of it. It's going to be fine.
You also need to get ready. Just go ahead and go get your medicine for
I'm
your
going to get
upper respiratory illness that you're going to come up with spending 6 days in a Coliseum full of dust.
The Coliseum crud. There is nothing wrong with that building that some TNT would not fix. That's what I'll say. And this is coming from a guy who grew up here and I've had some incredible moments in that Coliseum. I've seen some fantastic sporting events, some really memorable concerts, all the disclaimers you want to put on it. But yeah, it's we could use a new one of those. That would be fantastic.
I remember the year, it was sometime in the 1980s when a skunk had gotten in there and had perished. And it took them all week long at the tournament to find that stinker. It was awful.
That stinker. I was wondering where you were going. I was worried you were going to not make this a family-friendly podcast.
It was awful.
I can't imagine. It's just we could really use a really nice venue here in Jackson. I have always been of the thought that a 35 to 40,000 seat arena that was capable of hosting football would be the solution. Could host Jackson State football and then whatever else, concerts, whatever. For this event, it would be perfect. We're talking about teams bussing in from all over the state. And I'm not going to lie, it's kind of grueling when you look at if you're there for all the games, it's a bit much. But if you, pick a game you want to come see some of these players. We've got we do have some really good top line talent in Mississippi this year. And I'm just looking at right now these quarterfinal matchups, and there's some really good teams still alive that are going to be facing off at the quarterfinals this week at the select sites all over the state, and then starting Monday at the Coliseum.
Will the Neshoba County girls be back? Probably.
Yeah, I know for sure the Choctaw Central girls are one of the heavy favorites. I assume the Neshoba Central girls are still in it. It seems like all those teams from that part of the state are really good. I know the girl from Choctaw Central won the 3A Miss Basketball, and I was looking at her stats, and it was like, I don't know. She only averages like 13 points a game, and I went and looked, and like they all average 13 points a game. You know what I mean? They just share it a little bit better.
It is a highlight annually for me when Choctaw Central comes to the Coliseum. And, about 30 bus loads of Choctaws come with them. And they just take over the place. And they usually win, and they play some of the most sound, fundamental basketball you'll ever see.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. And we'll have a big post up by this weekend with the storylines to watch, that kind of thing. So stay locked to scorebooklive.com/Mississippi, and we'll keep you up to date. The way that it played out, because the soccer was supposed to be a week earlier. but the weather delayed the season. So usually by now I've seen like 3 playoff games, and I have not been able to get to a gym because we had the soccer Friday and Saturday. So I'm kind of really looking forward to this week at some of the regional sites. I think I may go to Raymond and check out some of the action Thursday and Friday. But man, we're at the big bracket reveal. The final semifinal bracket reveal that'll happen, I guess, Saturday. And then games start Monday, so it's a quick turnaround.
9 o'clock, right?
That's right. I'll see you there.
At 9 a.m. Monday morning, Coliseum. Yeah.
If you come see it, it may just be you and I, but I'll be there. So come check us out. And I wish I could pick you some favorites, but I have no idea. I feel like it's, especially at the 7A, the highest level, I think it's just wide open. There's not like clearly a best team. So I think it'll be fun to watch it play out.
There are a lot of things that I love about that tournament, and one is that every game is its own little passion play, and there's a great story in just about every game there. And I love watching the teams from the Hill Country come down here.
Beat the hell out of everybody?
Yeah, 3.5 hour, 4 hour trip. They don't mind. They just come down here, kick ass, and then go back home.
I'm telling you, man, I swear the Boonville kids, they just ride on one bus and get out, and it's like the girls are playing and the boys are playing, and they're both winning. And Biggersville the same way here recently. There's a couple programs like that up that way that just, man, they just play a different brand of basketball.
Well, I remember, when I was a kid growing up in Hattiesburg, and we'd start getting the I'd always look at the high school scores and in the Clarion Ledger, and the Hill Country teams, the teams from, Biggersville and Hulka and Wheeler and Boonville, they started playing in September basketball. They didn't. Not many of those schools had enough students to play football, so they started playing basketball, and by the end of the year, they'd come to the state tournament, and their records would be like 48-6.
Oh man, that's too many.
Yeah, but it's part of the state, and it's a fun part to me.
It is. They do it well up there, and it's I would be surprised. I know the Boonville boys and girls are both favored. I'm sure their coach, Michael Smith, would absolutely hate for me to say it at this point, but I think they're both favorites to win again this year. And I'm sure we'll see our buddy Cliff Little from Biggersville. I'm sure he'll have one of the two teams, at least one of the two teams, to the Coliseum. So it's kind of like a reunion. Kind of the people you only see once a year.
Yeah.
when they come to Jackson to claim their trophy.
Yeah, and again, I'll be there. I'll be there for the championship games without question.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to save you a seat.
All right, buddy.
What else is going on this week, Dad? You got anything you're working on?
I have a couple off-the-wall story type things I'm doing. Maybe we can talk about them next week. Okay.
I'm excited about it. That's a little teaser for you. A reminder, you can find all of Rick's writings over at MississippiToday.org. Dad, I got basketball this weekend, and then I'm excited to get outside. I want to play some golf if it ever warms back up. And, man, I can't wait to get to a baseball field somewhere.
Me either. And it's coming soon.
I know. I found myself looking up the TV schedule for spring training for Major League Baseball. That's how much of a junkie I am.
I guess they start later this week, right?
It's pretty soon. It's almost immediately. So we got that going on, and I'm sitting here. I'm such a junkie. It'd be like 7:30 in the morning, and that's when it hits me. I need to go look at who the non-roster invitees are for the Braves. It's how my brain works. I don't know. I can't fix it.
I'm anxious to see what Chris Sale has left in his arsenal.
I mean, apparently he's his first offseason. I can give you the full rundown if you'd like. Apparently it's his first offseason without any kind of nagging pain that he was dealing with or some injury. for the first in time, like 5 years. Feels good, he says.
We need him to feel good in October.
As we know, hope springs eternal this time of year. So, well, I think that's all the time we got, Dad. We will catch up next week after I'm sure I'll take a break from the Coliseum to come talk to you about the sights and sounds. And then be sure if you're in the metro area and you want to see some basketball next week, come out to the Coliseum. It never disappoints. Always a good story. And, support our basketball community.
Sounds good to me. I'll be there.
All right, everybody, have a good one out there. Stay safe, and I will talk to you next week.